Right, this one, whoa, is fractions. Mostly fractions. Okay, now first thing about fractions is this is what a fraction looks like. We've got the top of the fraction is called the numerator, and this tells you how many you've got. So we've got 3 of them, and this one is the denominator, and this one tells you how big they are. Yeah, so we've got 3 quarters. Yeah, quarter tells you the size, 3 tells you how many you've got. Now fractions can be written in all sorts of things, and the first thing we're going to do is simplify. It always has to be done if possible at the end of a calculation. So if we have 10 over 30, we look for something that can divide into both top and bottom, and in this case 10 will go into both top and bottom, so it can be simplified to 1 over 3. If we have 42 over 48 and you're not really sure what goes into these, because they're both even numbers, just divide by 2 and see where we go. So we get 21 over 24, and 3 goes into both of those, so we can divide that by 3, which is 7, and divide that by 3, which is 8. So we'd simplify to 7/8. Right, so now we're going to look at mixed versus or against top heavy. Now these fractions up here, these are ordinary fractions because the number at the top, the numerator, is smaller than the one at the bottom, so it's less than 1. This is a fraction that is less than, there's a less than sign, 1. Sometimes we've got fractions that are more than 1, which is, say, 10 over 4. This is called a top-heavy fraction, and we've got to convert this into a mixed. So to convert this into a mix, we do 10 divided by 4, which goes in 2 times, and 2 4s are equal to 8, and we've got remainder 2. So there's 2 left over. We don't carry on to decimals, with just 2 left over. So that one, as a top heavy, changed into a mix, will be 2 remainder 2 quarters. Now, this is also something that can be simplified, so then that will be 2 and 1/2, because you can divide by 2, both top and heavy. So we've changed the top heavy into a mixed because it's a mixture of whole numbers and fractions, and we can go the other way. So if we go 3 and 2/3, which is a mixed, we want to change it into a top heavy. What we do is take the bottom number, 3, the denominator, multiply it by the whole number, so you get 3 times 3, which is 9, then add 2, which is 11, so that equals 11 over 3. So we've got everything in thirds, so this is 1, 2, 3, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and 2/3. And I'll just wipe out the bit that we don't need. So we've got 2/3, 1, 2, 3, and 2/3, and all together we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11/3. So that's how we do that. We multiply the bottom number by the whole number and then add the one at the top, the numerator. Let's just do one more there. 4 and 4 1/4. So we go 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17, so it will be 17 over 4. Now we need to do this when we're adding, multiplying, in case we get mixed, because before we calculate, we need to change into top heavies, and when we finish the calculation, we might need to change it back into a mixed number, and simplify, of course, at the same time. So multiplying fractions, 2/3 times 4/5. What we do, we simply multiply the top two numbers together to get 8, the bottom two numbers to get 15, and we can't simplify that. Yeah, so we leave it at 8/15. 2/3 times 2/3. Okay, so 2 2s are 4, 3 3s are 9. That's it. Can't simplify that either. So 2 over 4 times 3 over 8. 2 3s are 6 and 4 8s are 32. We can simplify by dividing by 2, which gives us 3/16. That's as far as we get. So that's multiply. Then we did divide. So 3/4 divided by 2/3. Now, what we have to do here, we can't simply divide the top and the bottom numbers. What we have to do is change the sign to multiply, and then turn the second fraction, it's got to be the second, upside down. Now that will give us 3/4 times 3 over 2. Okay. Now we're back to a straightforward multiplication. 3 3s are 9 and 2 4s are 8. Now this is a top heavy fraction, so we need to tidy this up a bit and change it into a mixed. So we do 9 divided by 8, which goes once with 1 left over. So that becomes 1 and 1/8. Okay, 10/12 time, oh, hang on, I turned it upside down too quickly. 10/12 divided by 3/4. Okay, so 10/12, change the sign, turn upside down, multiply the top 40, the bottom 36, and let's start to simplify that. Just divide by 2 will do. 20 over 18, I can divide by 2 again, 10 over 9. Can't divide anymore, but it is top heavy, so I can simplify that into a mixed number. 9s into 10 go 1 with 1 left over. So that's multiply and divide. The next thing we did add. If we got 3/4, add 2/4. If the denominators are the same, we simply add the numbers at the top. 5/4. Top heavy, change into a mixed. 5 divided by 4 is 1 with 1 left over. There. That's when the denominators are the same. Easy. If we got 3/4, add 2/3. The denominators are different, so this is what we have to do. Draw a long line and multiply the 4 and the 3 together to get 12 and put that underneath there. Then we cross multiply, starting with the bottom right hand corner. So we go 3 3s are 9 and 4 2s are 8. Now this is an addition, so we put a plus in there, and 9 and 8 is 17 over 12, which is top heavy. 12s into 17 go 1 with 5/12 left over. Another one, 4/5, add 3/7. Okay, big long line, 5 7s are 35, cross multiply, 4 7s are 28, and 5 3s are 15, plus 15, and that's 38, 43, 43 over 35. So that goes into it once with 8 over 35. Can't simplify that, so there's your answer. Now subtraction is just the same. We get 4/5 minus 1/3. Multiply the two numbers at the bottom to get 15, and cross multiply. 4 3s are 12 and 5 1s are 5, and this time we have the minus. That's why you have to start at that bottom right hand corner, so you get these numbers the right way around. And 12 minus 5 is 7/15. Can't simplify. 10/12 minus 2/3. sometimes these numbers get a bit big. 12 times 3 is 36. 3 times 10 is 30. Minus 2 times 24. 2 times 12, sorry, is 24, which is 6 over 36. I can divide both of those by 6, which will give 1 over 6. So that's add and subtract, top heavy, mixed. Now you might need to compare. 3/4, 5/4, 7/4. It's easy to see which is the biggest. So if you had to put these in ascending order, starting with the smallest, it would just be the same as that, because they're all quarters, so you can do it. But if you have 3/4, 5/8, and 4/16, what you have to look for now is a common multiple of these three numbers, and they all go into 16. So we can leave that as it is, 4/16. Now we need to double this to make 16 because it's 8. Double that, 16. So we need to double the top, which gives us 10. And we need to multiply that one by 4 to get 16. So we multiply that by 4, that gets 12. And to put these three numbers in ascending order, we would start with this one, 4/16. And the next one is this one, which is 5/8. Now make sure you put the original numbers in the answer, and the largest of the three is this one, 3/4. So that's putting something in ascending order. Might be descending order, but look for common multiples. Yeah. Common multiples. Now if you can't find a common multiple, so we're going to put these in ascending order, yeah? So we're going to get 3/4, 5/9, and 6/11. If you can't find a common multiple, 99, but 4 doesn't go into 99, so this will usually be in a calculator paper, and to convert the fraction to a decimal, just go 3 divided by 4 on your calculator, and that will be 0.75, and then do 5 divided by 9 is 0.5 recurring, and it means it goes 0.55555. 6 divided by 11 is 0.54. 0.54, and they're recurring as well. So the smallest is the 5/9. The middle one is the 6/11, and the top one is the 3/4. Yeah. Now, we now know how to change fractions into decimals. Yeah. So fractions into decimals. You take the fraction, say 4. What should we go? 4/10. I don't know. Just go 4 divided by 10 equals, which is 0.4. 0.4. Yeah, 0.4. Now, if you didn't have a calculator, 4 divided by 10, you do this. 4 divided by 10, and put some zeros in there because we know it's going to be decimals. 10s into 4 go nothing, so 4 carries on over to that one. 10s into 40 go 4, so you get 0.4. Now we're going to do it the other way, decimals into fractions. Right, when you've got, say, 0.7, this is in the tenths column. So we've got 7/10, so you just write 7/10. If you had 0.05, this is in the hundredths column, so you would write 5 over 100. 0.003, this is in the thousandths column, so you would write 3 over 1000. Now if we've got double numbers, 0.76, you take a look at the last number and decide that that's in the hundredths. So you would have 76 over 100. 0.302. The last number is in the thousandths column, so it will be 302 over 1,000. So that's how, oh, let's do another one. 0.021. This is in the thousandths column, so this will be 21 over 1,000. So that's how to change fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. Now, to add into the mix, we might have percentages. So how do we change decimals into percentages? And we'll go the other way around, and then we'll do the fractions. A decimal, 0.72. Yeah? What we do is we multiply by 100, and that gives us 72%. 0.02 multiply by 100, and that gives us 2%. 0.1 multiply by 100, that gives us 10%. So now we're going to go percentages to decimals. Okay, 84%. So if we were multiplying to go that way, we're just going to divide by 100 to go this way, and that will be 0.84. 6% divide by 100 equals 0.06. And what are we going to have to do? I don't know. 11% divide by 100 equals 0.11. So decimals to percentages, percentages to decimals. All right, so we're going to fractions to percentages. Fractions to percentages. This is a little bit more awkward. So say we've got 3/4. We just multiply this by 100, and that would give us 300 divided by 4. So 4s into 3 don't go. 4s into 30 go. 4 sevens are 28 with 2 over. 4s into 20 go 5. So you would have 75%. Yeah. 5 over 8. Yeah. Multiply it by 100. So that would give us 500 divided by 8. So 8s into 5 don't go. 8s into 50 is 6 8s are 48, so that's 6 with 2 over. 8s into 20 go 2 with 4 over, so we're going to have to add some little bits on the end. And 8s into 40 go 5, so we've got 62.5%. So that's changing fractions into decimals. Fractions into percentages. My goodness, percentages into fractions is the last one of this. So let's have 42%. 42%. Now we're going to divide by 100, but we're going to do it the easy way and just write 42 over 100. That's it. And you can simplify that. 21 over 50. I don't think you can simplify that. So 13%, divide by 100, just write 13 over 100. That's it, changing a percentage into a fraction. 25% divided by 100, which equals 25 over 100. Can simplify that, can divide both by 25, equals 1/4. So that's the fraction lesson. I hope we didn't miss anything out. Apart from, oh yeah, we did mention it, didn't we? Recurring decimals. If you go on your calculator and you do 1 divided by 3, let's change that into a decimal. So it's 1 divided by 3. Okay, so we put some zeros there. So 3's into 1 don't go. 3's into 10 go 3 with 1 over. 3's into 10 go 3 with 1 over. 3's into 10 go 3. And we're going to go on forever, yeah? So this is 0.3333 forever. And so what we do is we write a dot above the 3 to tell us that that is a recurring decimal. There are a couple of different flavors of recurring decimals. If we've got 0.42 and this part is the recurring, that would be 0.422222 forever. If we had 0.42 and there was a dot above both of them, it would mean both of these numbers recurred, so it would be 42, 42, 42, 42. They're like the ends, the extremities of the recurring bit. If we have 0.402 and we've got a dot above these two, S would mean that the 402 would repeat. So that's the short way to write recurring decimals is just to put the little dot above. Okay,